Hi, this is Sarah from Last Day Deaf, talking with Joe from IDLES. So you're a part of a growing punk resurgence the UK has seen in recent years, with bands such as Heavy Lung, Slaves, and Cabbage. Which of your peers interest you musically, and do you find yourself playing off of each other, influence-wise, you know?
I don't know about influence. Like, we try and just absorb as much influences as possible from everywhere. I think if bands influenced each other in the sense of bands that sounded similar, it would become really boring really quickly. And that happens a lot with scenes in Britain because it's such a small place. And there's densely populated things travel very quickly, fashions and such. So it becomes quite monotonous real quick. So we tend not to pay attention to our peers in the sense of what they're doing. We just celebrate their successes because we like them. They're like-minded people. So. And what was the other part of the question? Whether they...
do you find yourselves playing off of each other, or which of them interest you musically?
The band that I find the most interesting at the moment, girl band, Fontaine's DC. I think we play off each other in the sense of the people. You know, you get to meet them, see them, like Cabbage and who else? Fontaine's DC are amazing people, and we just like to know the people behind the music. I think that's more interesting. The music itself is great, but I don't want to evaluate it too much because you stop enjoying it for what it is, which is just fun.
Right.
Music, insightful music, whatever it makes you feel or think, just leave it there. I think musicians, as musicians, absorb a lot of stuff naturally, musically. You know, like you just pick things up, and you know, like Bowie said something along the lines of, you know, all the best people steal. You just don't know it. You just do. You just absorb things that you love. So yeah, I don't know. But there's some amazing bands about the moment. Very good. Punk, I'm not so sure about, but just bands in general, amazing.
Cool. And do you think the Bristol scene is somewhat different than the rest?
Yeah, Bristol as a city is different to the rest. Yeah, it's definitely different to any other city in Britain that I've been to. It's just the people make it amazing. Very open-minded, liberal place. Lots of creative people. It's comfortable. It's fun. A lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of good people. I love it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. The music scene is kind of reflected on that. It's not like there's lots of bands or artists that sound the same. Just a lot of good people enjoying themselves, which is good. You know, it's multicultural, and a lot of cultures have come into our city and affected our music and created a sense of open-mindedness where people just do what they want to do, not because they're in Bristol, but because they're allowed to do whatever they want to do, which is because they're in Bristol. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's not like a Bristol sound, there's just a Bristol philosophy.
If your last album, Brutalism, along with the style of your band's music, was representational of brutalist architecture, what style of architecture would Joy as an Act of Resistance be?
A church.
Okay.
No, actually, a church is a bad word. Not a bad word. The wrong word. A place of faith where you can go and pray in your own faith, whatever you believe in, I'd say.
Using Danny Nedelko as an example, how do you normally go about forming and later recording a track?
Well, we just promised each other we'd write a song about each other because he's in a band, Heavy Lungs, and yeah, we just agreed to write a song about each other. And then I realised that he'd be a great example of the human aspect behind the debate around immigration. and a great example of what I love about our country. And yeah, so I just knocked it out.
And so how do you usually go about like recording a track, and like what's that process like?
We don't really, we just record albums, we don't record tracks separately.
Okay.
But what we do is we'll write the song instrumentally, just come to, one of us will come to the room with a part. We'll write it all out, and when it's ready, I'll take it away and listen to it 100, 200 times until a phrase or a word or a melody or a rhythm comes into my head, and then I'll build the song around that, write it in one go, and that's it. I just write the lyrics in one sitting, and that's it. We try and write songs as instinctively as possible. Try not to force anything. If it doesn't feel right, then we just scrap it and start again. Do something different.
No overthinking.
Exactly. Try not to sit still too long.
When was the first time you saw your father cry? I mean, what was the experience like? It feels odd calling it an experience, but like the topic of Samaritans and ways society has made it one, you know?
My grandmother's funeral was the first time I saw my father cry. It's the only time. And he's a very open, honest, loving, compassionate person. He's not, he's not like stereotypically a man's man or any of that crap. He's an artist. He expresses himself freely. Yeah, he's just from a generation that don't cry a lot, I think. Which is strange. But yeah, he's magic. I learned a lot from him.
I've read that the band has credited practicing mindfulness for having a healthy interpersonal relationship. What led you guys to mindfulness?
Well, I came to me from counselling or therapy, as you call it, and conversations with Bowen, and lots of people that talk about meditation and mindfulness. My partner was my fiance now, put me onto it as well, but it was a point in my life where I needed something to put me on the right track because I was going the wrong way. And then we kind of all started practicing mindfulness within the band after we were doing it in our own lives, and then improved as a band, and then wrote the second album as a reflection on that period.
You've named so many different artists, entertainers, and athletes on your record, some of them being quite obscure. Who's next?
Who's next?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to write the song first. I don't really plan anything like that. I wouldn't know until it pops in my head when I'm writing the song. So I don't ever write lyrics before I sit there and write a song, because it's just not how my brain works. And I don't know. I think it's more honest if you do it on the spot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I was going to mention someone. Oh yeah, I've got someone.
Who?
I'm not going to tell you. There's someone who's been badmouthed for me a lot recently. It'd be quite funny to write a song about her.
Okay. That would be.
But yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah, I genuinely don't think about it until the song's written.
Gotcha. In the moment.
Yeah.
You've been on tour in Europe this summer and have now started a lengthy US leg. What are the differences you found playing gigs on each side of the pond? How does the audience reaction differ?
It doesn't. Not in the UK and England. In the US and UK, it doesn't differ at all, really. Similar people, like-minded, varied crowds, More young people and more women are coming now. Predominantly white. What else have I noticed? Yeah, there's a real sense of compassion. People look after each other at our shows. We've had a few shitty ones, not for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I think our music evokes a certain kind of reaction, you know? Our music kind of steers people in a certain emotional direction. So the reactions are similar no matter where we are in the world. There's slight differences. Certain cities are tougher than others. But UK and America are quite similar. There's a much better infrastructure and attitude towards live music in America. Bands are accommodated for a lot better here, and people have a better attitude of coming to new music here. UK's pretty bad for new music and live shows. The venues are better here, but crowds are quite similar, because I think there's a sense of disillusionment and frustration in both our country and yours.
Right.
And I think there's a real lack of honesty in popular culture in our country and yours. And it's a real sense of unease, sectarian decisions, and hateful attitudes towards certain groups in our country and yours. So I think that often leans towards certain temperaments and subversions from our music in those periods, no matter where you are in the world. So at the moment, I'd say the crowds are pretty much the same. Food's better here.
Oh yeah?
Not better for you, but better.
What's the best thing that you've had here recently?
Fried chicken ramen.
Oh.
I didn't think it would be great, but it was amazing. I was in Toronto, to be fair, which isn't your country. But that was really good. What else? Oh, I had a Cinnamon Graham's cookie from a place in Chicago. We had a deep pan pizza in Chicago as well.
Oh yeah, you have to get those.
That was probably my favourite thing so far. It's good.
How would you describe yourselves as live performers to the uninitiated?
Loving and violent.
The first album that struck you growing up?
The Score by the Fugees.
Sweet. Slow Savage is one of my favorites, so I have to ask, how many times did it take you to record that? Was it just a one-off, like you talked about? Wow.
Yeah, that was a one-off. I was really drunk. That was the last song of the album that we recorded. We don't do more than 3 takes anyway, in any song we've ever recorded. Well, actually, that's not true. We used to try more, but when we started working with our producer Space, he kind of instilled this idea that, to get that live energy, you need to not overthink in the studio as well as in writing and such. So we give ourselves 3 takes, which is more than enough now. We don't need 3 takes, we do it 2 or 1 mostly. And yeah, I just decided that I wanted it to sound authentic, and it's about being on a come down or a hangover after you've had a real Barney with the missus, or argument with your partner, as you probably say here. And so I got really drunk. I did it in 1 take.
Sweet. I just feel like the vocals, were just dead on with the emotion of the song, So.
Yeah. Well, we wanted it to sound like the end of a bender.
Right.
It's called benders here.
Yeah, sometimes.
Drinking session.
Binge.
Another word I'd use to describe us live. Grateful.
Okay. Where does each of you gain bits of inspiration? So you specifically.
Conversations with my friends and my partner. Overhearing strangers is always a good one. My friend Greenwood, he's fucking funny. I steal a lot of his jokes. books that I love affect my consciousness for a long time and my thinking. So Joy as an Act of Resistance was inspired a lot from Grayson Perry's book, The Descent of Man, which is a book about toxic masculinity and how it's affected the world, not just little things, but how a recurrent theme in our social consciousness has affected everything we do via masculinity. All the pressures of Jesus was a big impact on the first album, Kanye West's album. I don't know, musically, I just try and absorb everything I listen to that I love, just regurgitate it in my own way. So there's a lot, anything I love. I think there's influences from all over.
What have you been reading recently?
The Plague by Albert Camus, which is about a plague. It's a small French town, and I'm about halfway through it. I started it about a month ago, and I stopped reading it about 2 weeks ago because I've been too busy. But I was on holiday, so I started reading it, and it was lovely. But I've got it with me when I finish on this tour. I've got another book by James Baldwin with me, American author. And a book on existentialism and humanism by Jean-Paul Sartre.
Do you usually get time to read while you're on tour?
There's loads of time to read, yeah. But it's about, I can't really sit in the back in the van because I don't like it, so I sit in the front and I just talk to our TM driver and sound guy, Jeremy, because he's very interesting. And I think conversation is a lot more fruitful for me than reading at the moment. But when we hit the UK and Europe, we're going to be in a sleeper, which means it's going to be a big double-decker coach with loads of beds on it, so I have loads of time to reflect and stuff, so I'm doing a read. But America, I'm just going to look at the scenery and talk.
And what's next for IDLES?
Album 3, touring, babies. Might have to fight. Lots of t-shirts. I don't know. What's next? Yeah, all those things. Festivals. I want to get married. I want to go to Glastonbury. I want to get nominated for a Mercury Prize. I want to go to South America.
Anywhere in particular?
Not really. I mean, I'd like to go to Colombia just to see what 100% cocaine's like. And, yeah, no, I joke. I think I'd just like to see South America. I've never been. And apparently it's a great place to play. It's very different to the rest of the world. And I would like to see why. That'd be cool. And Mexican cola is amazing. I love Mexican cola. So those things. Apart from that, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I do want to spend some time with my girlfriend, my fiancée. So. And album 3, we're starting it. So keep your eyes peeled.
Alrighty, will do. Thanks for the interview.
Very welcome.